You may be wondering what happened to her. Watch to find out. Imagine a quiet evening. A woman sits, phone in hand, her thumb moving in a steady, almost hypnotic rhythm. She scrolls through an endless stream of images and updates. Perfect smiles, exotic vacations, flawless bodies, and seemingly ideal relationships fill her screen. Each post is a tiny window into someone else's life, or at least the version they choose to present. This scene is familiar to so many of us, a daily ritual in our hyper-connected world. But what is the true cost of this constant digital immersion, especially for women? Social media platforms are designed to be engaging, even addictive. They promise community and entertainment. Yet beneath the surface of vibrant feeds and cheerful emojis, a more complex story unfolds. This video will explore the often unspoken negative impacts of social media on women's mental health. From the intense pressure to belong and the cultivation of unrealistic expectations, to the pervasive culture of comparison and the erosion of self-esteem, the effects can be far-reaching. Let this be a moment for honest introspection. The influence of social media is often subtle, a creeping presence. Think about the first thing many of us do upon waking, or the last thing before sleeping. We reach for our phones. This habit wires our brains for constant connectivity and instant gratification. Women may feel pressure to maintain a certain image online, aligning with trends or expectations. This can tie self-perception to online validation, creating an unseen weight on mental well-being. Dr. Jean M. Twenge notes a rise in anxiety and depression, coinciding with the proliferation of smartphones and social media. Understanding this digital influence is the first step towards addressing its impact on our mental health. We must acknowledge its power before we can reclaim our own. Humans are inherently social creatures. We have a deep-seated psychological need to belong, to feel connected to a community, and to be accepted by our peers. Social media platforms cleverly tap into this fundamental human desire, offering seemingly endless opportunities for connection and community formation. Women, often socialized to prioritize relationships and communal bonds, may find these digital communities particularly alluring. However, this pursuit of belonging in curated online spaces often comes with significant consequences. The desire for acceptance can lead to conformity, where individuals feel compelled to adopt certain trends, opinions, or aesthetics to fit in. The fear of exclusion, or FOMO, fear of missing out, becomes a powerful motivator, driving users to constantly check feeds and participate in online conversations, lest they be left behind or perceived as out of touch. This can lead to a gradual loss of individuality as the pressure to conform overshadows personal expression. As psychologist Dr. Sherry Turkle has observed, online interactions can sometimes offer connection without true communion. The feeling of being liked online doesn't always translate to feeling genuinely understood or supported. True belonging thrives on authenticity, not on a carefully managed online persona. Social media doesn't just shape how women see themselves, it also profoundly influences their expectations of others, particularly when it comes to romantic partners and relationships. The platforms are saturated with idealized portrayals of love and partnership. These curated snapshots, often filtered and selectively shared, create a powerful yet frequently distorted image of what a good man or a perfect relationship should look like. This constant exposure to idealized masculinity and flawless partnerships can lead women to develop unrealistic expectations for men in their own lives. When real-life partners, with their human imperfections and the normal ups and downs of any relationship, don't measure up to these digitally crafted ideals, disappointment and dissatisfaction can easily set in. The danger lies in internalizing these digital narratives as reality. True partnership is built on far more than what can be captured in a perfect photo. Social media, particularly in conjunction with the rise of dating apps, can cultivate a pervasive and often damaging mindset, the "I can do better" syndrome. These platforms present what appears to be an almost limitless array of potential romantic prospects. This constant exposure to a seemingly endless pool of options can create a false sense of abundance, leading women to believe that a more perfect partner, a more ideal relationship, is always just around the corner, just one more click or swipe away. This illusion of infinite choice, fueled by the instant gratification and validation offered by likes, matches, and messages, can have significant impacts on real-world relationships. The "I can do better" mentality can also breed chronic dissatisfaction. The digital promise of more can paradoxically lead to less depth, less stability, and less genuine happiness in their romantic lives. Recognizing this illusion is crucial for breaking free from its grip and fostering healthier, more grounded approaches to love and partnership. One of the most insidious effects of social media on women is the relentless culture of comparison, particularly concerning body image. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok are visual by nature, filled with carefully curated images of seemingly perfect bodies, flawless skin, and idealized lifestyles. Women are constantly bombarded with these images, many of which are heavily edited, filtered, or achieved through means not disclosed to the viewer. This creates an environment where unrealistic beauty standards are not just presented, but normalized and celebrated, putting immense pressure on women to measure up. This constant exposure inevitably leads to social comparison, where women scrutinize their own appearance against these often unattainable ideals. Studies have repeatedly shown a strong correlation between increased social media use and higher levels of body dissatisfaction, disordered eating patterns, and lower self-worth among women and girls. The use of filters and editing tools further exacerbates this issue. The gap between the curated online self and the authentic self can be a significant source of psychological distress. Escaping this trap requires a conscious effort to devalue these artificial benchmarks. Beyond the pressures of comparison and unrealistic expectations, social media platforms can also become arenas for direct psychological harm. Cyberbullying, for instance, poses a significant threat to women's mental well-being. The anonymity or perceived distance afforded by screens can embolden individuals to engage in harassment, shaming, and malicious comments that they might never voice in person. For women, this can range from unsolicited explicit messages and body shaming to targeted hate campaigns, leading to severe emotional distress, anxiety, depression, and even trauma. The digital space, meant for connection, can quickly turn hostile and unsafe. The very design of social media, with its constant stream of notifications and updates, also contributes to heightened anxiety levels and the pervasive fear of missing out, or FOMO. The feeling that everyone else is living a more exciting, fulfilling life, a perception heavily curated by social media itself, can leave women feeling inadequate, isolated, and perpetually anxious about not keeping up. The cumulative effect of cyberbullying, relentless notifications, FOMO, and the addictive pull of these platforms creates a significant burden on women's psychological resources, often silently eroding their peace of mind and overall mental health. Recognizing these multifaceted harms is essential for developing strategies to mitigate their impact. Acknowledging the negative impacts of social media is the first step, but it is equally important to empower ourselves with actionable solutions. We can reclaim our well-being by cultivating a healthier, more intentional relationship with these digital platforms. One powerful strategy is to consciously curate your feed. Unfollow accounts that make you feel inadequate, anxious, or trigger negative self-comparison. Instead, fill your feed with content that is inspiring, educational, or genuinely uplifting. Setting clear boundaries around social media use is also crucial. This might involve designating specific times of day for checking platforms rather than allowing them to interrupt your life constantly. Consider implementing no-phone zones or times, such as during meals, before bed, or when spending quality time with loved ones. Practicing mindfulness while engaging with social media can also be transformative. Before you open an app, ask yourself why you're doing it and what you hope to gain. As Sherry Turkle advises, we need to move from mere connection to genuine communion. Finally, don't hesitate to seek support if you feel social media is negatively impacting your mental health. By taking these proactive steps, women can navigate the digital world with greater awareness and protect their precious mental and emotional health. Social media's allure can cast long shadows on women's mental health. The pressure to belong and distorted expectations about relationships are undeniable. The comparison trap attacks body image and self-worth. This is a message of awareness and empowerment. Set boundaries and prioritize mental well-being over online validation. Foster authentic, real-world connections. Invest in face-to-face interactions and nurture relationships. Reflect on your social media habits today. Your well-being is paramount. What happened to her? anxiety, depression, distorted body image, and a sense of isolation.